Hello, this is an English version of my last video, Diabetes Reversal Important Considerations. Since I have some viewers who don't really understand Malayalam, I thought I'll do all my future videos in both languages, and my recipe videos also I'll voice over in both languages so that everybody can access it. So one of the things that I have told in my last video, actually what I have learned out of 2 years of trying to control diabetes without medications. I have controlled diabetes without medications. I am in a better position than I was with medications. So I think if you consider diabetes reversal as going back, reversal as returning back along the same path, I would say that I have succeeded in reversing diabetes, though not curing it or totally becoming having a totally undiabetic HbA1c above 5.5, below 6. I had lowered up to 6, and whenever I don't strictly follow the diets and I indulge myself, it can go up to 6.5 to 6.9 even, but not above 7. And that way I think I have been successful in controlling diabetes without medications. Let me tell you, I don't have any single medicine, nor do I follow any practice of controlling diabetes through say plant medications or using certain plants for controlling diabetes. I am not using any plant to control diabetes. The only measures I am using are 1. Diet, 2. Exercise, and 3. Attitude to life. That is what will keep you peaceful and unstressed. Stress is an important cause of diabetes, as I have said in my previous videos. Stress will change your balances, the balance at which your body stays. There is they say no, your blood sugar level should be such, your blood pressure level should be such. They give a small range of normal balance, which they call homeostasis. That homeostasis will go higher. Your hormones will become higher, especially stress hormones, and your balances will go up, and which will but your engine, the body is made for the normal levels. So if you have a car and you have a problem running it on second or third gear, and you are always running it on first gear, the car will break down very soon. That is what will happen when you are stressed and you are running yourself on a higher level of hormones and other things. Your metabolism is not going up. Your hormones are, your stress hormones go up, your insulin levels go up, and other things happen in the body, and you run like a car running on the first gear, and that is not good for you. Sorry about the throat. So it is better that you control your stress levels also. Sleep, a lot of things come into it, but let us leave that for later. So what are the things that I think we should consider before any attempt to control diabetes with medications or without medications? You have uncontrolled diabetes and you want to control it. What are the things that you should keep in mind? First, you are responsible for your own state of health. I don't mean you became diabetes out of your fault, or you became you had a cancer because of your fault. No, I don't mean that. I mean the present state. Once you are diagnosed with an illness, how that progresses depends a lot, especially diabetes, blood pressure and cardiovascular diseases depend on yourself also. You have to determine how to go further, and you have to stick to your path. There are many ways of controlling diabetes. There are many paths also. Keto, carnivore diet, these are all extreme diets. Low carb. Then there is the whole food, plant-based diet, vegan diet. Any diet you stick to which has been proven to control diabetes is okay. I am not qualified to say that this is better or that is better. See, we fight over this God is the real God, that God is not, or that God is the real God, this God is not. We know nothing about God, and we cannot limit him to one image or one representation. There are many ways of knowing God. In the same way, there are many ways of controlling diabetes, and it is foolish to say this is the right way. There are many ways, and whatever is closest to your regular habits is the best, because you can attain it as well as sustain it. Sustaining the diet is also very important. This is one consideration. The second consideration is you should prioritize your what is important to you. You should have a list of what is important to you and try to fit in yourself above everything else. What I mean is, don't neglect your diet. Once you have chosen a diet, say let it be low carb, let it be keto, let it be plant-based, whatever it is, you may have to deviate from the regular food that the family is eating or you are making for the family. This is for women especially. For men, the wives will see that they get the diet, unless there are two babies in the family or something, or a sick person in the family, then the mother would naturally prioritize them as first. But if you have to have a plan, and you have to stick to the plan, and however busy you are, whatever the circumstances in your family, you have to continue on that path. And if you don't prioritize, you are not going to stick to the path. For example, for myself, when the COVID lockdown started, I was so scared about something unknown, whether it is true or not also we were not sure. Something unknown happening somewhere is going to affect you, and you have to shut down and stay inside. And whether you will get enough food, whether you will be able to go out and buy food, all these things were not known, and I got scared. So at that time I never thought about my diet. I only wanted to pass the days, just do whatever was required for the day, and then go to bed tired. But now we know the dangers, and we know how to protect ourselves. I am more relaxed. So when such circumstances come, we neglect ourselves, and our sugars may go up after you have started a diet. So please prioritize yourself as the first step. If your diabetes is poorly controlled, there are lots of diseases that are awaiting you. You all know what happens to a diabetic who has not given attention to his condition, not followed the doctor's directions, not followed the diets, not followed exercise, not followed anything, and thought this will pass, I am taking medicines. If you go along that path, very sure you will soon have the complications of diabetes: nephropathy, neuropathy, retinopathy. Your legs will feel as if they are not your own. You may injure yourself and not know about it. You may have an amputation. These are extreme circumstances, but still these are possibilities. So don't neglect whatever path you are choosing. You can choose the path of medication also, but even there you have to maintain discipline. Don't think that these medicines, you just take an aspirin for a headache and the headache goes. Diabetes is not like that. You take a tablet for diabetes and diabetes does not go. It will help you to control the blood sugars. It will help you in various ways, like suppressing your absorption of carbohydrates, or by producing more insulin, or by suppressing certain enzymes or certain actions of your body, suppressing the liver's action in releasing glycogen even when you have enough sugar in your body, because your hormones, insulin, glucagon hormone balance is disturbed. So many kinds of medications are there. They change the situation as long as the medicine in your body is there. But when they change the situation, that doesn't mean they can change the situation without limit. If you keep on eating, your sugar will not be controlled. You have to stick to all the advices of the doctor. That is one thing. There are different sets of control levels that the doctors prescribe. Of late, they have said that the elderly need not control their diabetes very strictly. So if your life expectancy is less than 10 years, then if you are more or less controlled, say around 7.5 or 7.8 or something, you don't have to worry yourself about getting below 7, because they have found that in trying to control the very senior persons like me, when you are trying to control diabetes to in very strict levels, sometimes you have a chance to go into hypoglycemia, and that hypoglycemia is more harmful than a blood sugar which is slightly higher. But that doesn't mean you can go out of control. So your doctor determines what is the level that is optimum for you. So when you show your HbA1c, he knows your condition, he knows your body, he knows what is happening to you in other sites also. He knows your cardiac conditions or your neuropathy or nephropathy, and so he will tell you what to do. So that is what you should try to learn from your doctor. And you have to be very strict about what you eat, how you exercise, even when you are on medications. Don't think that because you took the medicine and the blood sugar has come down to from 8, HbA1c has come down from 8 to 7.2, you are succeeding. It does not mean that. It only means that your body somehow is managing to adjust the sugar that comes into your body, either by pushing more into your liver or into your fat cells, or and also restricting what is being absorbed. That may not improve your situation. So unless you follow a diet pattern along with your medications, you are not going to improve, and you may even worsen. So that is where the IMA's food plate comes in, and the food plate will help you control your diabetes very well. Food plate plus exercise will help you control your diabetes and also bring down medications. Another thing I wanted to say is about the what we call Ottamoli, the one-shot solution for diabetes. There are many videos everywhere saying that you do this and you will be cured of diabetes. I'm not talking about keto or low carb or such things which have been well researched by the scientifically researched, and scientific papers are available. I mean, when people say that you just boil that leaf or this leaf and then drink that juice, your diabetes is going to be controlled. So unless it has been backed by scientific research, don't do that, because these leaves have, when you boil the leaf and drink the juice, all the water soluble substances in the leaf are going into your body. Those water soluble substances may contain, and mostly contain, what is called cyanogenic glycosides, which are things made of cyanide, compounds of cyanide, and over a period of time these can harm you. So when you are taking something, make sure that something is well researched and cannot harm you. And my advice is, don't take anything that is not researched for long periods. 1 week if you try it, maybe it will not harm you, or maybe it will, I cannot say. But if you do it for years on end or months on end, that may not work. We as diabetics are very, very vulnerable. Even I am. I wanted to cure my diabetes. I was so desperate about it. I was desperately trying to find ways of eating without feeling guilty. The main problem with diabetes is that we feel guilty when we eat, and that is one thing that makes us vulnerable and want to shake off this disease as easily as possible, and we fall prey to these videos and also magazine articles. They just want to increase viewership or readers. So they are not 100% ethical in all that they publish. So we cannot dispute them. Better ignore their advice. You can see them, but better ignore that advice unless you know that it has been a researched thing. Then what is the one-shot solution for diabetes? There is a one-shot solution which will help you reverse diabetes and keep it so over a long period if you stick to your diet and supplementation, exercise, etc., which the doctors prescribe, and have regular visits, and that is bariatric surgery. Bariatric surgery means cutting a portion of your stomach or your intestine, or banding it so that it becomes very small and you can eat only very little food in the beginning. Only very little food can be accommodated inside your stomach. So your eating will come down drastically. Your nutrition will come down drastically. So you have to be on supplementation. And these are the impacts. These are some of the impacts of bariatric surgery. And if you keep on gradually increasing your intake, you may your stomach may become enlarged and you may go back to putting on weight and going back to diabetes. So that is the only method which is known to reverse diabetes in one shot. Mostly it reverses diabetes. Before surgery they put people on a very low calorie diet which will melt the internal fat, the visceral fat in them, and because of the melting of the visceral fat from the beginning itself, from the preparation time itself before of bariatric surgery, diabetes is being reversed. Then every diabetic is different from each other, but one thing common is that you have visceral fat and your methods are for melting the visceral fat, whereas medicines are not for melting the visceral fat. But if you keep control with medication and also diet which is either low in calories or high in fiber, or some diet which the doctors prescribe which will gradually make you thinner and melt your fat, that is a way of controlling diabetes. Each person is different because I am different from many people in that my fasting sugar has never gone above 200. In my memory it has not gone above 150 even. When it went to that level, I always saw to it that I exercised or dieted or increased my medication and controlled it. When I was on medication, I depended on the medication. So I always kept my diabetes, my blood sugars as low as I possibly could. But still it was 7.5 or slightly above or slightly below. I always saw to it that my postprandial blood sugar was also not too high. I have never crossed 300. My maximum was around 280 when I started testing, and it was always 240 plus at bedtime when I was on medication. Now it is 140 or so 2 hours or 3 hours after food. At bedtime it is always not below 140 or maybe on some occasions it goes up to 160. But this diet does not mean that I am having a deprived life. Now Christmas is coming. I would eat all sorts of cakes. I will eat the Christmas plum cake, I will eat the chocolate cakes I make, I will eat everything, but in limited quantities and at intervals that won't interfere with each other. If I eat a plum cake piece now, I don't eat a chocolate cake immediately or a cookie immediately after that. I will restrict the quantity of sugars, the added sugars, the refined flours that go into my body. I restrict that. I see that it comes once in a while only, once a month or twice a month. If my blood sugars exceed the levels, it does not mean that I am going to develop retinopathy or myopathy or any such problems. So it doesn't mean that I am going to have a really restricted, a deprived lifestyle. Eating is one of the best enjoyments in life, cooking, eating, etc. So this that pleasures, if you deny yourself, you will feel deprived. But you have to be disciplined about it. And how can you be disciplined? You have to learn some kind of meditation and yoga which will affect your willpower. The willpower and the way your attitude to life is also very important. So if you keep on looking at life as if see my state, I wanted to eat everything. In my youth I was deprived, I didn't have enough money, I didn't have enough time. Now that I have learned to cook and I am trying to make cakes, I cannot eat any. Don't feel that way. Look at it in the positive way. See, I am living even now without any of the illnesses, the big illnesses like a cancer which you can't control, or so many other diseases. Anyway, I have so much family, I have food on my table, I have a home to live in. Look at the positive side and then restrict your diet. Be thankful that you can eat a piece, a small piece. I don't mean half a cake. So these things are important. Your attitude to life and your view of life. Don't deprive yourself totally. You can eat occasionally. I don't eat all this regularly. So exercise and activity. Suddenly you find that your sugar is going up. Look at yourself. For everything you have to look at yourself. What did you eat? Number one, are you sick? Do you have some other illness in your body? Even COVID is supposed to increase your blood sugar level. So are you sick? That is the first question. It's exercise. Second one, have you been eating something that will send up your blood sugar? Even pulses and dals in excess can send up your blood sugar because they all contain carbohydrates. Then has your exercise and your activity levels come down? Do you have a full-time servant now, and are you just sitting throughout the day after a walk in the morning? Yeah, your activity level has come down, and your need for calories, your need for glucose has come down, and you're eating at the same level. So consistency is a very important aspect when you are trying to control diabetes. Consistency is very important. Mindfulness is very important. You should know what you're doing. In the evening you find that your sugar has gone above 300 and you're trying to think, what did I do? And you can't remember what you did because you were not mindful of what you're doing. You were worrying or thinking about something else, and then carrying on your day, you will not know what has hit you. Now, LCHF is low carb, high fat diet. I will explain all the diets in coming videos. LCHF is what I did in the beginning to bring my sugars down and to reverse my fatty liver to a great extent. LCHF is has carbohydrates, but the total carbohydrates in a day is 120 grams at the most, 100 to 120. And when it is 100 to 120 grams, you cannot eat dals and pulses. They are restricted to once in a while because they also contain carbohydrates. You cannot eat rice at all. If you are eating 1 tablespoon of rice, your dals are out, or you can eat 2 tablespoons of dals instead. But even those things are restricted. Many things are restricted. I used LCHF in the beginning to get to this level, and now I am on I came down from 58 kilograms to 50 kilograms and recently to 48, but I have come back to 50 kilograms. My HbA1c went down to 6, now it is 6.9 in January, because last January, because December was a festive occasion. It was my husband's 70th birthday. We had parties and we brought home the food, and then we also had celebrations at home, made cakes for Christmas. So altogether in January my HbA1c was 6.9. That was a verge of below 7. So I tried to control after that, and then this pandemic hit and I have not checked thereafter. So I intend to check after some time. This HbA1c reflects your control over the last 3 months, especially with more stress to the last 2 weeks of your before you're taking the blood. So I have lost weight. I have my fatty liver has come down to mild fatty liver. The liver size has come down. Now I am on a maintenance diet. I cut carbs, I watch my weight and monitor my blood sugar. I will explain how I do all this in my coming videos. I am doing both English and Malayalam for whoever is able to see or whoever wants to see. This will be available for a long time if anybody in Kerala or following a Kerala diet. This is not just for Kerala. Anybody following any diet can apply the basic principles and get off their medications. Medications are okay if you cannot do anything else. And if you can do something else, then the food plate and gradual reduction of medications and coming off it is a possibility that you should examine, which is also now accepted by IMA, and there are doctors who are doing that, lifestyle changes for controlling diabetes. So thank you for listening. Have a nice day. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Bye.